Hey everybody, welcome to etrailer.com. I'm Bobby, and today we're taking a look at the Swagman XC2 2-bike platform rack here on the back of our 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee. So this is going to be a very decent way of just getting your bikes to the trailhead. Now, it is not going to be the best bike rack out there. If you do find yourself having a little bit more of an expensive bike that you want to really treat nice, this might not be the rack for you. Why I say that? It still does an excellent job of just getting our bikes up to that trailhead. However, we really only have one point of contact here on our bike. Now, it is solid. As you can see, it's moving here with the XC2, so it's not going anywhere. But all in all, you are seeing a lot of rattle on here, a lot of side-to-side shift. If you had another bike on here, it might start rubbing up on it. And again, that one point of contact can be an issue for some people out there. Now, if you're looking for something maybe a little bit better, I would look at something like the Rocky Mounts Monorail 2 bike platform rack. Why I like that? Really good securance on it. Now, that's going to be a huge price jump for a lot of people out there, but that's only if you have a really nice bike and you're really looking to protect it. Otherwise, if you just want to start having some fun on the weekends, getting you and somebody else up to the trails, this is going to do the job, especially if you don't find yourself doing any kind of like off-roading. And I think in the 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee, that's definitely up some people's alleys, so do keep that in mind as well. But this is still a very nice rack. We are having frame contact here, and with a 35-pound weight capacity, that's basically what's going to limit us here on the majority of our bikes. That, and if you do have any women's bikes, step-through bikes, kids' bikes that might have a hard time actually having this horizontal bar, you may need a bike adapter bar as well with this guy. Basically clamps underneath your seat post and those handlebars and allows you to have this horizontal bar there. So that's another issue to kind of take in mind. However, one thing I really like about it, we actually have this whole track here. Our track is going to end right here. This bottom arm, if I were to put it here at the bottom, I could get it really, really low. So even some of those step-throughs actually have a pretty decent time fitting on here, which is pretty cool. Any kind of like BMX bike as well, probably going to have an A-OK time staying on here. To that end, though, since we have that frame contact, not going to be great for your carbon frame bikes. That is going to put constant pressure on that frame, and it can end up warping or deteriorating it. So do keep that in mind. Now, one thing also about the versatility of this bike, that arm, awesome that it can go so low and start accounting for a variety of bikes out there, as well as the two different heights on here, allowing us to mix and match however we need for our different bikes. We actually have these adjustable cradles. So just by going lefty-loosey here, I'm going to open up this cradle, and now I can shift this. And I can do that to all four of my cradles, making it really easy to account for a variety of different bikes. Of course, just righty-tighty is going to tighten that up. Now, one thing I will say, though, you might see just a little degradation here on your XC2. That black powder coat is going to have a little bit of rub due to that bracket being shifted around. If you're really worried about that, a little lubrication could go a long way just when you are moving it. Although we want to do a good job of cleaning that up, that way it's not going to be affecting that clamping system. So I wouldn't suggest it for the first time, you're going out. But if you're looking to protect your XC2 just a little bit more, that is a nice little helpful tool. But before we actually take our bike off, let's take a look here how it's interacting on our Jeep Grand Cherokee. So as I see, we are having just a little bit of approach into our visibility with these handlebars here today. However, we are staying pretty low, at least with our bike here today, with our taillights. So still going to be seen there, of course, and we do have our top cowling, so I'm not worried about anybody not seeing us. I think that brake light is going to be seen still. However, our backup camera is going to be dead center right here on our post. So you might see a little bit, but you are going to be looking through your bike frames, your wheels, and already, again, that center mass is going to be right in your way. So do expect a lot of loss of visibility in that backup camera. And I don't know about everybody else's Jeep Grand Cherokee out there, but this one doesn't have the best backup camera already. So we might have to get used to utilizing our rear window and, of course, our side mirrors. But all in all, definitely not terrible. The one big caveat I think I have with this guy, well, there's actually two. The first one is going to be the fact that it can't tilt away, all right? Now, that's not going to be terrible for everyone out there, but if you do find yourself wanting to hit the gas station or doing a little errand running before or after your rides, this also might not be the rack for you because I can't easily tilt it away and open up my hatch. What I have to do take off this bike, lower down my mast, and then I have the option of getting that hatch open. So that can be a one to watch out for. And then secondly, we're not going to have an innate security options here. So we don't have a lock here on our arms, and it doesn't even come with a hitch lock. Now those are secondary options that we can account for, right? We can grab ourselves a bike cable and a hitch lock, also available here at etrailer.com. However, that is one or two more things that we have to purchase now, as well as our XC2. So do keep that in mind. But it's not going to take me too much time at all to get the bike off. That's one thing that's great about it. Very simple and intuitive bike rack. Of course, let's make sure we do a good job of holding onto our bike. Pressing in on that lever, just like so, allows me to take that off. Really easy to do. I like to hang these guys too, just because if I set them out somewhere, I'm afraid I might lose them. You know me, always forgetting things. But now I can take my bike here, lift it, and walk it away. Now, 35-pound bikes or so might be a little harder to do. If you're really worried about it, you could lower your mast and then get your bikes on. And at that point, though, maybe a second pair of hands can be bigger because it's going to be hard to balance those two things. But I can set this aside, and now we're already ready to ride, which is great. And let's just re-add our cradles. That way, we're not forgetting anything. Just like so. And there we go, nice and released. Again though, not gonna be able to open this hatch as my mast is still in the way. If I wanna get to it, I need to bring myself down to the bottom here. We're gonna have these little pins that actually hold our mast up, and I can set that down to the side. Now I can pop open the back here of my hatch. That's gonna get me access now to my coolers, bike helmets, waters, whatever else I might need here in the back of my Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now, one thing I also like about the XC2, and I don't know if everybody would actually do it, you would have the ability, if you wanted to actually get you access here to the back of your Jeep. What I mean by that, I could put both of those pins back in, right? And now this is out of the way. I can easily walk up to everything I need. And that's actually kind of cool about it. I do like that I have that modularity, and I can get this out of the way for myself, which is pretty nice. But I'm gonna just simply reinsert that pin for now, bring down my mast, and let's close up this hatch. Again, hard to do all the time, right? Now my bike is sitting somewhere else. Again, probably not great for your gas station runs or those errands. And at that end, if you are looking for something that's pretty similar to this guy, that actually has the ability of tilting away, the Curt 2-bike platform rack that we have available here at etrailer.com, the tilting one, that's a great little way. A little more expensive, but not enough to break the bank for most, which is great. And you actually do get that ability of tilting away. And you are seeing pretty much the same framework and style as you are seeing on the XC2. So that can be a great pickup for some. But yeah, I really do like this guy. One thing we have to keep in mind with almost any carrier is that we're going to be adding length, and we might have some clearance issues with the ground. So why don't we go ahead and check those from the back here. At our furthest point, we want to check how close we are to the ground. Now the hitch here on the Jeep Grand Cherokee already does sit a little low. I'm liking that we have a little rise here in our shank. And from the ground here today to the underside of my carrier, that's putting me at 19 inches. Now, one little thing about the XC2 though, if your wheels are a little bit skinnier, not as wide in width, you might see a little more dip in your wheels as well. And that's something I would really check. Make sure you're not having too much of your wheel lower than that. And if it is, we find ourselves approaching some steep inclines, we might want to take it nice and slow. Now, 19 inches is a pretty good spot to be, but as those front wheels go up, the rear will go down, and so will your hitch-mounted accessory. So if you find yourself on a really steep hill, maybe just take it nice and slow. That way we have no issues. But let's go ahead and see how much length we're adding here from the back of the vehicle. From the back here today to the very end of my carrier, that's putting me right at 19 1/4 inches. So really not terrible for a 2-bike platform rack, which I like to see. The only thing about it, though, you are going to be pretty much stuck to this length. The only thing we can really do is bring in both of our sides. However, I really do like this formation. Why I like it, makes it really easy to take off of our vehicle. I think I'm running just, right, there we go. Sometimes that cradle system has to be moved so that our sides can come in. And again, these pins pull right out, they reinsert, and just like that, we folded this up a lot. And now this is probably where we're going to primarily find ourselves keeping it when it's not in our vehicle. The one thing I'll say about this in the back here, if you are driving, you're probably going to hear this a little bit. Something like a cam buckle strap or just something to kind of cinch this together could be really nice to eliminate this knocking on each other. But that's just a little something, and you might not even hear it because it's so far in the back. But if you guys are having trouble with it, That would be my one suggestion. But I do like how modular this gets. And if you're talking about taking this off your vehicle, very, very lightweight. It breaks down, very easy to store somewhere, especially in a closet or a garage, takes up no room. And further on, we could actually end up taking off this shank as well and really making it easier to store. So I find this being great for like apartment living, or like I said, if you just don't have too much room, it really doesn't take up any, which is great to see. But moving our way to the inside here, we can see that naturally we have an 1.25 inch shank. However, we do have a 2-inch sleeve converter on there as well, allowing us to either utilize our 1.25 inch or, as we have it here today, our 2-inch hitches. So I do like that we have that ability. Puts it on a lot of different vehicles, which is great. And on the inside of that, you also are seeing a threaded anti-rattle hitch bolt. So that's awesome. It is pretty standard across the industry, but what you like to see is this is going to be eliminating all that rattle. And as I shake this, you can see it's actually in line with the frame of our Jeep Grand Cherokee, shaking it itself. That's taking all that shake and play, all that loose slop, eliminating it, making for a nicer, smoother ride for ourselves, our bike rack, but especially our bikes. So overall, I am a really big fan of the XC2. You know, it's inexpensive, it's simple, and yet it works, right? It gets the job done. It gets our bikes to where we want to go. That way we can start having some fun. Again, I would suggest maybe the Rocky Mounts Monorail 2 or that Curt 2-bike platform hitch or rack if you are looking for that tilting capability, or if you do have some nice bikes that you want to start protecting and maybe having a different, better hold on it. But overall, still a great little system here today. Doesn't look too bad on the Jeep Grand Cherokee, and now we can start riding and having some fun. Otherwise, though, guys, I think that about does it for our look here today at the Swagman XC2 2-bike platform rack here on the back of our 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I'm Bobby. Thanks for watching.
This is our test course. Let's start with the slalom. This shows side-to-side action, such as turning corners or evasive maneuvering. Then, onto our alternating speed bumps. This shows twisting action, such as hitting curbs, potholes, road debris, or even uneven pavement. Last of all, the solid speed bumps. This shows up and down action, such as driving through a parking lot or parking garage, or driving in and out of a driveway.